There's the camera. Audio's right here. So
Right. All right, guys. Welcome to All Sides of Kennebec. I'm Sean Karen.
I'm Jeremy Levasseur.
And today we have Derek Levasseur.
Levasseur.
Levasseur. I've heard it so many ways, so it is. So, but how's everyone doing this weekend? Hopefully everybody had a good week. We had an
election.
Yeah, we had the election that just passed by. Sorry to say I didn't win, but I wasn't expecting to. But well, I was. But
I
was hoping, but you know how that goes sometimes. But yeah, basically, I'm thankful for the Waterville Republican Committee for giving me the opportunity to run for board. Like I said, the main reasons I went after running for school board was my daughter, and we didn't have a Republican pick for my ward, and I really just didn't want to leave that seat open.
Right.
I wanted to at least give Republicans a choice to rally around somebody if they felt like they wanted to elect a Republican for the ward, but it seems like the last weekend right before voting, the main Democrats undid what I did in one day that I did in 2 months, so unfortunately.
Colby, they were out rough that day.
They were in force for Flavia.
Last Saturday, actually.
Yes, they were out in force for Flavia. So, but yeah, we the turnouts were small. I wish they could have been a little bit better, but it is what it is. Being an off year, it's not the
just wasn't too much
yeah.
to bring people in.
That's what it is.
I noticed a lot of the numbers, even in Fairfield, they were really low. Like, a lot of people didn't come out to vote.
Right.
So, they
didn't really have the incentive.
Realize, they don't understand how important it is, whether it's your selectmen, your town council, or local mayoral races. And, it's just so important to just get out.
Yeah.
And I think if any side could really convince 60% of their party to get out and vote, it would be a landslide.
Yeah.
So, we really need to start communicating that well with people.
And every vote counts in a local election.
Huge. It's huge. And we sometimes feel drowned, like we've been drowned out in bigger elections, like the presidency or something like that. But it's really important. It's all important.
Right. You often feel that your vote doesn't really matter in those kind of larger elections.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's that's the thing. It seems like everybody they talk and they're like, oh well, I hear that a lot. I don't vote in the big elections because it doesn't matter. And then it's like, well, you really got to get out and vote for that. Yeah. The local. Well, that's what really pretty much decides everything.
It's really one of the things that our founding fathers left us. That it's a responsibility that they gave us.
Yep.
And I feel like it's the one task that we can do to honor them. I mean,
I agree.
It's really
definitely
an important thing to do.
Definitely. And you had a pretty interesting past, I don't know, how many months was it? 7, 8 months?
Yeah,
like that? You were
about
campaigning?
6.5 months, yeah. Sometimes when you see something that needs to change and there's a great philosophy or a great idea behind the change, you don't have the steam or what it would take to actually make that change. And so I desired back in March to run for U.S. Senate against Susan Collins in the Republican primary. And my desire was, because a lot of my principles, one of the biggest things that bothered me was I'm pro-life. I believe that one of our things, the most important things to do, the Constitution protects, is every life. And
that's one of the big reasons why I rallied around your campaign. That was one of the big driving factors for me.
Because socially, and this sometimes baffles a lot of people, I am not like I guess strict line Republican.
Right.
I feel like, a lot of times people say, well, God wants this, well, God wants that. Well, I'm a Christian, and I believe that if God wants it, he's going to work to save them the way that he wants to. And it's not our job to make them feel like they're outcast.
Right.
And so no matter what that covers, and that covers quite a bit that the Republican Party seems to stand against.
Definitely.
And so I think it's really about being inclusive, but also making sure that people can live their lives the way they want to.
Exactly.
Have financial stability, but also protecting the very thing that right now our baby boomers are retiring.
Right.
And so there's this massive draw on retirements and Social Security and Medicaid and all these different things that are getting hit really hard right now, but we don't really have the youth working for us that we would have had Roe v. Wade been different.
Right.
56 million abortions since Roe v. Wade.
That is an amazing number.
Yeah.
So really,
it's over 1 million abortions a year, and if you think about that, that would be enough of a workforce to be contributing more than is being taken out of Social Security today. And I know, like, statistically with war and disease and things happen, but still, if 40 million of those people are still alive today, you know, it'd be pretty significant.
Imagine the economy.
Yeah,
imagine how well the economy would be right now under Trump.
And we're like, we're struggling to find employees. I mean, there's just a lot of things. And to me, it's just a moral code. I've shared the story before. I used to be indifferent on abortion. I didn't feel like I should have an opinion.
That's how I felt in the beginning.
Yeah. And when I became a police officer, I got a call one night to where there was a lady who was code K, meaning deceased. She was with her 2 teenage daughters. But I was only like a minute and a half away from that house, just by chance. It was such a cool circumstance. I arrived there. She was pale, laying there lifeless. I checked her for her heart rate, no heart rate. Checked her for breath, no breath. You know, the basic things of CPR. Right. And then I pulled her off the bed and I laid her on the floor and I checked one more time. And when I was sure that she wasn't breathing and her heart wasn't beating, I started CPR. I gave her CPR for roughly 6 to 7 minutes, somewhere in that time frame. I don't know exactly. It was quite a while.
Yeah.
Called for an ambulance, and because the situation that I came into, they couldn't send in an ambulance, but they were staged not that far away.
Right.
But so they had to send in a police officer first because of the basis of the call. So when I got there, you know, I felt like it was a safe enough environment to give this woman CPR, and I honestly didn't care at that moment. You see someone lifeless or teenage
your
girls
instincts
crying.
jumping.
Yeah. So I gave her CPR. They came in with an AED. So I got the Lifesavers Award for doing it, but I don't feel like I really had any part other than like just kind of keeping her body sustained and ready for that AED.
Right.
But so I didn't get to like feel like life. I've heard people say these great stories. You know, they're giving CPR and they feel something
the
come back. Yeah.
Right. The presence.
But they had me set back so I didn't get juiced with the AED, and I gladly did.
Right.
And I got back, and it was such an incredible moment. And it took about 6 months. Like, you know, I received the award, the Lifesavers Award. A bunch of things had happened, but about 6 months later, something else happened. There was a pretty bad car crash, and we lost a young child. And when you start seeing those things and you see how important life is and how we do play a role in saving people's lives often, and I've always felt like it's not my role because it's their body hosting that baby.
Right.
And like it's up to them to choose whether to host it. We all play a role in saving people's lives every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was one big thing that also resonated with me too. Is the conversation that we had about the Republican Party seems to be the party of no.
Right.
So how do we change that from going from no to yes, and being able to protect the innocence of life that needs to be protected? And we were talking about maybe starting a program to help the mother get so far ahead until she's on her feet or whatnot. And another thing that we were talking about is how the basis of so that it doesn't become a burden where they have to re-register every 3 months. As long as they're
6, yeah.
Right, as long as they're doing what they're doing to stay within this program, you don't harass them. Well, I wouldn't say harass; that's not the right word. But
it's putting a strain on that,
right?
Because
Exactly.
There's a lot of paperwork. There's an appointment. So we want these young ladies from, I don't know what age, but we'll say from 16 to 24 years old. That's really the highest point of abortion in our country. We want them to really, we want to change their hearts, but we can't because this is all a moral code for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's stop trying to do that, but let's give them opportunity.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is. It's the opportunity to succeed.
And that's where, even as a Christian, I want to change someone's heart, but I'm not going to do it by forcing my belief on somebody else. The best way I can do it is by providing a way that they can see that I'm willing to provide something without making them feel less than. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the problem. So what you're talking about is I thought of this maximum of a 6-year program of where if someone was 16 years old and came in and signed up under this new program that we could set up. All right, listen, it's this easy for them already. Every 6 months they're going to have it anyway.
Right.
But let's just say you're 16. We're guaranteeing you until you're 22 years old, you're locked in.
If I could pause you for a second too, because the way that the program's set now is that it's not. designed for them to go look for work. It's designed to keep them off of work, and that was one thing that we were talking about was drive it. Yeah, drive it for them to be looking for work instead of trying to take away work, so that way they can actually get up on their feet.
Don't remove the incentive.
Yeah.
Right, and so part of the incentive of that program would be they continue schooling or they continue work.
Right.
So their insurance doesn't drop. Obviously, if there's other funding and stuff, that would have to come out if someone's making a decent wage. I mean, we get be smart.
Right.
And but like if we really want to change the way this is being done, let's start putting our money where our mouth is. And we do for everything else, stuff we don't agree with. I mean, we're paying for abortions here in Maine, taxpayer-funded abortions.
That makes no sense to me. But
so if we can pay for that, we might as well pay for others to have a decent life.
Right,
and actually have an opportunity.
Exactly. I think it would be more beneficial, and I think the numbers in people succeeding would be a lot better, too, if we drove the programs in that direction.
Yeah. And I think that was, that's something I really wanted to push forward. It's something that, I was able to share with a lot of people. So I hope that even though I backed out as a candidate, I got no support from Maine GOP. I actually got counter support.
You seem to have a lot of
sabotaging.
I don't know how far you want to go into detail about that.
Well, we can talk more about that in a minute.
Okay.
Just remind me, because I was sidetracked really easy. But I really wanted to get that message out there. I really feel like, one of the things that I was asked a long time ago from our party chair, and it's one of the greatest things she ever said to me, and Demi and I's relationship strained because of the stuff they did to me. But one of the greatest things she ever said to me is, Derek, why get involved in politics? And I said, honestly, to make change. And she said, no, if you can save one person's life, like save a life.
Right, I like that.
And because she is pro-life, Demi's pro-life, and so I hearing that, and seeing what was going on with Susan Collins, her voting record for 22 years or 23 now is supporting NARAL, pro-choice America 84% of the time, Planned Parenthood 93% of the time, and I might be a little bit off on those numbers, but it's pretty darn close. And to see that her campaign's been funded $88,000 over the last 22 years.
Well, see, that was another thing
that
that really bothered me is just how much super PAC money is involved with her. Like, how much money comes from out of state?
So here's the problem with politics. The biggest problem with politics, and this is why term limits I feel like are kind of important, but I also have this little thing inside me that has this about term limits, because we as voters deserve the right to vote for whoever we want, right?
Right.
But so you get somebody like Susan Collins, who's been in there for so long, she knows every corporate contact, she has all this other stuff. It's pretty hard for us to know someone else to vote for.
Right. It's very difficult to beat her at that point.
Right.
And I think that was that was probably one of the only things I sort of kind of agreed with Susan Collins' rep there. The one that we saw when we were out the tour.
When he's like, it's going to take $22 million to win this race.
Yeah.
It's going to be more than that, I bet. I bet it'll be in the 30s, but...
She was talking about the importance of seniority, and I honestly, the conversation would be should we allow that seniority to be allowed to be accumulated, or do we go the other way?
Right,
that's
here's
what
the problem.
What I'm getting.
It exists, so yes, we kind of have to look at it, and I did agree with her
right
that night.
That's what I was
like. He's right. But that's the problem with politics in the United States, is we get these people get in there, they become career politicians, they get to sell that now, even though they're just
because they have the experience, because they've been there for so long.
And they have all the pull, and so yes, which I don't believe she can with the recent polling that's out, one of the Democrats will take this race, which I don't want. I'm hoping. I hear rumors. There's an independent rolling in who's kind of. That's pretty awesome, actually. I'm pretty excited about. So if he rolls in and announces his bid anytime soon, he's going to be he will steal it from Susan Collins and possibly the Democrat.
Yeah.
But he will definitely. It'll drop Susan Collins' numbers down to almost nothing.
Yeah, I think with. I hate to say it, but I think because of her step towards. Not being pro-life is really what's hurting her.
It isn't our party.
I really think that's what it is.
The state of Maine, they just polled across the nation, 56% of people in the country are pro-life now.
Yeah.
In the state of Maine, we're over 50%. So, I mean, if you only poll the pro-life vote, you're going to win.
And normally she would win based on some of the Democrats.
Right.
But with the Brett Kavanaugh vote, that's not going to happen either.
She's done.
Well, see, that's one thing. She's always been able to get that vote in that makes it so either the opposing party or the Republican Party want to keep her in the spot that she's at. She's been very lucky to be able to,
She's been very
to
good
land those
at what
votes
she
that
does.
way. Yes, yes.
And listen, I want to be.
I mean,
I'm upset about life, the pro-life, pro-choice thing.
Right.
But honestly, Susan Collins has done great things for.
No,
the
that's
medical field.
that's what I was just getting
I
at.
have
next.
people that
It's
are
just-
diabetics in my family,
Right.
and Susan Collins has like climbed mountains for those people.
Right, yeah, I know.
And,
I know when you have to pay what is it, almost like $300 a vial, I think is
Yeah,
what
for
they were
insulin.
saying, and then you
Right.
go over the border to Canada and you pay like $32 for that same exact vial. That's just ridiculous.
But realistically, the companies in America made it and then
Right.
just sold it over there.
Exactly.
And you know, there's other things that Susan Collins has done, but Shelley Pingree, Jerry Golden, Bruce Poliquin, people before them all did the same thing. Like the jobs
Right,
of Bath Iron
right.
Works. That's good common sense. That's a kind of
A platform running,
it's a-
yeah.
Right, like Bruce
not
Poliquin,
hard to-
the shoes and New Balance.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And I tell you what, like a little bit about the CD2 thing. I would wish Bruce would have come back. I believe Bruce would have won now that we've had an alternative.
Right.
You know, Bruce
It
took
would
a
have
lot
been an
of heat.
interesting race, I'll say that.
Bruce took a lot of heat for a couple of votes, but I can tell you, he really is.
Yeah, he is.
He took a lot of-
incredible man.
He really
and,
is.
I would vote for him 1,000 times. I would have worked for free 100 hours a week if he was running.
Some of the
Uh,
Obamacare votes and the
yeah.
John Boehner.
But then when you talk to him and understand why, because it would have left certain people like
under
like,
the
right.
bridge.
yeah,
Right.
and then they've already given
Without
up
a
their,
plan.
right? Without any kind of plan.
Yeah.
So like you can't do that to people who are in the middle of like a pre-existing condition and they're being treated,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you cut their treatment. I
That's-
mean, the government
yeah,
really
that's
can't
not-
do that.
no.
And like he said, he's like that's a no-win situation for him, but he had to go with his moral compass, and
Right.
and I can't blame him for it.
Nope.
You know, I think what hurts worse than all of that. And I know this isn't going to be a popular thing, but Obamacare still exists today,
Yep.
but the mandate's gone.
Yep.
So here's the biggest problem with that. We're still paying for it, even
Right.
though we're not paying through the mandate. We're still paying for that. And it's going to continue to hurt us.
Right, yeah, it definitely needs to be repealed and replaced.
Yeah.
I don't even think it can be repealed. I think it needs to
They
be,
lost their chance.
Right, it needs to be fully
Republicans
replaced.
have their chance.
It's not
I think
not
it-
going to happen.
No.
It's such an unpopular thing to get rid of it now.
Yeah, because it's popular for
yeah.
a big portion
Well,
of
I
it.
mean,
what they can do-
look at how much it replaced. I mean,
Well, they're making it
nobody
so
wants to go
unaffordable
through
now.
that again.
And it's getting so unaffordable, eventually it'll fizzle itself
Self
out
out.
to a more
It's just
like
going to have
a-
to crash.
Yeah, well, it'll probably still cover 25% of the people it's covering today, but it's going to fizzle down. I mean, I know a lot of people that were on it, it got too unaffordable. My own personal health care, I dropped it in March because my health care plan went up so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my deductible was $8,000.
Well,
Wow.
what was it?
And-
It may have been last year or the year before, but Arizona had, I think it was 120% increase. That's crazy.
It's unbelievable because back in 2010-11, I paid $653 a month for my insurance. I had a $1,500 family deductible.
That's
This
not
is
bad at all.
private insurance, and you know, I had to pay $25 a office visit. I think we
Right.
paid $10
Still
for
pretty
the
cheap,
kids,
though.
$5 for prescription. I think chiropractors were free, and
Wow.
you know, stuff like that. But that same plan, I can't even buy for $1,400 right now.
I believe it.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
I think until we make it so that health insurance companies can move state lines, I think the prices are going to stay right around where they're at. I think that
Well,
would be a big
they need
help.
to have,
See,
like,
the
a la
scary
carte
thing now
more.
is all these insurance companies are kind of vested in Obamacare.
Right.
All of them have plans there. So they're making bank no matter what.
Right.
So they're going to sell
That's-
across
yeah.
state lines?
No.
Not now.
That's
No.
why I'm saying.
There's no
I don't think
incentive
you can-
No, the rates.
Yeah, I don't
like,
think you can repeal it.
Maybe if we can buy insurance from Canada, you know, so
Maybe.
we can buy insurance from anywhere. I don't know. I honestly don't know a solution for it.
I don't really see anyone
Right.
coming up with any solutions other than the Democrats, which is Medicaid for all.
And then one of the best programs, and it's a really long subject, maybe we'll cover another day, but one of the other programs I had is like this kind of credit card program where everybody got like your own credit card for medical care. And like, yes, there are people going to be on main care, but they have the same card, but that's still covered by main care because that's what
The
they fall.
HSA card type
Like,
deal or something.
People with
like that.
disabilities
Yeah.
and our retired people, they all get the same card too. But it's covered like
Right.
in the numbers. It's covered. It goes to those places for billing. All the people in the middle, we go pay, but we pay like a cash rate for our treatment, whatever it is.
Right.
And then you keep paying on that card. You have like a set rate that you know you're going to pay because you use about $2,000 a year. Something catastrophic comes up, no matter what insurance you have, most people file for Medicaid anyway.
Right.
So we have this plan where we're paying, at least contributing to our own health care, our own benefits, and we actually have something. And say you can't pay your bill at the end of the year, but you go file your taxes, you have a couple of kids, and you get a $2,000 return, it would all go, the remainder would go to pay off your debt.
It'll offset.
Yeah, and then you get whatever the balance is.
Right.
So it would at least make us somewhat more accountable for how many times we visit the doctors. Because people with free insurance visit every time they get a hangnail.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've noticed a lot of people are doing with a lot of the main.
You don't feel good, just go to the ER.
Right. And then the other part of that is you have people who are probably like ourselves, where we're less apt to visit the doctor. We're like 3 or 4 days into pneumonia because
you're almost halfway dead by the time you get there.
And then it's because of the expense. And then we're sitting there thinking, oh my God, this is going to be another $100 a month for the next 6-7 months that I'm going to be paying.
Right.
And
I had the flu last year for like a week and a half. I didn't go because I didn't want to have to pay the insurance. Or not the insurance, but the bill.
The
hospital bill.
copay.
I didn't even have a copay. I didn't have insurance then.
I
do now.
So if you want a fun story, that's really great. But if you want a fun story, or a little bit of we'll get into some gossip, I guess, so we can make this a little bit more, I guess, interesting. But so Maine GOP gives out data when you become a candidate, and you have to agree to the terms of that. The terms of that is that you're not going to share that data with anyone. It doesn't say anything about free speech, like silencing free speech, but that's what Maine GOP saw it as. So when Demi, the chairwoman's fundraiser, went to a bunch of people and started trying to cut me off so that I couldn't have a chance at a run, she even went to Paula Page, and Paula Page went after one of my staffers. He came at me, told me that he would come right through me, and that he was coming after me hard. And I just kind of smiled because, there's one thing that I'll always be, and it's me. I don't care who it is that's coming after me. If President Trump all of a sudden today said he wanted to come after me because I drive a Dodge Charger, I'd just laugh and go for it. But what kind of party are we that we don't allow free elections?
I agree.
So we dog on the Democrats all the time because we're saying they're trying to allow other people to vote that shouldn't be voting. But what we're doing is we're limiting who we'll allow you to vote for.
Yeah.
So we got these great plans to make sure we have secure voting, but we have awful plans to get good candidates in there.
Right.
Or fighting
the implementing it.
So with that GOP data, what happened is I wrote a post on my blog and shared what Demi had done. It wasn't a lie, and just said I felt like she was incompetent and she should be removed. I do still feel she's very incompetent at that job. Since she's been there, what have we won? She's only been there 4 years. Yeah. We've got trashed.
I'm a registered libertarian,
yeah.
so I couldn't even vote for you.
So we had the Senate before. We maintained the Senate for a little while, and we were gaining in the House, and then she comes in and we get slaughtered in the House. We lose the Senate. We lose the Blaine House, anyways.
Right.
We lose the governor's race, and we even look at on the federal level where Maine GOP really backed some of our federal candidates. We got slaughtered there too.
Right.
So, and then my big question is, if anyone from Maine GOP would be listening, would be, what is your plan?
Right.
It's always a counter to what the Democrats do, as opposed to actually having a plan. And they say, well, we're not going to give away anything free. I'm not asking you that. But at least come up with something
gotta have some
that redirects people.
I'd be more than willing to have one of the main GOP people on if they want to answer that.
Right, we do. We need some type of direction in the party. I do agree. It doesn't seem like the direction is going in the right direction, I guess.
So they strip my data, and I understand that.
So what is it, like a website that you log in?
It's every registered voter in the state.
Yeah,
it gives me access to your phone number, your address, so that I can tell you that I'm running for office.
Like Nation Builder?
No, it's nothing like that.
It's so you can get your walking lists and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but is it like a database that you log into?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And so what I was using it for is I established my call list. I was calling people, letting them know I was running.
Let you know who your weak Republicans are.
Yeah, and we were polling people. We were actually doing
sway votes and stuff like that.
And then they stripped it and it erased all my data. So I had no idea who I had called. And we contacted over 5,000 people.
Wow.
Which is a lot of work. I'll tell you, there was a ton of man hours in doing that.
Absolutely.
And all of our information had been stripped. And we had 3 different lists that we were working in 3 different ways. We were polling with target questions for certain things. And every single thing, when we just said, hey, if, the election was held today and Derek Levasseur, he's a Republican, was running against Republican Susan Collins in the primary, who would you vote for? If we just said that, I lost. But I could only pull like 38% of the vote because no one knew my name.
Right.
And then then we had a list.
Obviously, name recognition.
Yeah.
We had a list for that just to see where Susan Collins stood. That's what was important. Then we took life being a big issue, support of our president being an issue.
Yeah, because I know in the beginning when you started running, I know you.
Well, it's really great.
Right. If you move forward a little bit, you might be able to get out of it.
I'm out of it right now.
All right, good. But no, when you first started running your campaign, I know you tried to stay more towards the issues than trying to, like, even disagree with Collins in any way.
See, I didn't want to disagree with Susan Collins at all. I didn't want to do anything to hurt her as a candidate because I felt like if I couldn't win, we still needed to rally behind her. But when her staffers started attacking me when we were at events and like just trashing on me. And like the way that they represent themselves, and I tried to shake their hand.
Oh, I know it. What was it? We went out to.
It was up to Ellsworth.
Yeah, would have been one of the first or second videos we did, and I ended up talking about when she had signed her term limit the first time. Yeah,
and that's the other thing.
The woman didn't even know the answer to the entire question. She thought that she'd only signed it once.
And Carol's a wonderful person.
She is.
She's doing a good job trying to protect Susan Collins. She's doing her job, and Carol is a wonderful person. But I mean, she did come at me, and I don't blame her. It's her job, and I can appreciate a job. But I also believe that if we make promises to the public and stuff like that, we need to honor them. And Susan Collins has done none of that.
I just felt like when you asked the question with her staffers, it just seemed like you didn't get the correct answer back.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just that wedge that they drive between Collins and the people is another thing that I think is hurting her personally. I know people were running a petition to get her to come to a city.
Like a town hall.
Yeah. And
she won't do it.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I'm not even going to bother to put my name on it because I know it's not going to go anywhere. And I guess what I'm getting at is if you know that you can say that, that's bad. You gotta have that connection. And I was talking about that with a few other people on election day about how Susan Collins is divest in trying to steer Republicans in the state house and stuff. She doesn't want anything to do with the state house. Yes, she makes the appearances, but she doesn't get involved.
So here's something. So we wonder why Susan Collins would be like that. But here's the even bigger wonder. Okay, so Susan Collins is a moderate. That's why she's like that.
Right.
But here's the even bigger wonder. Why does somebody like Paul LePage come out and endorse someone who he was outwardly spoken out against 2 years ago? He was even saying that he might even primary against her himself.
I thought,
doesn't hold any of his philosophies, his agenda. They're completely different. He's pro-life, and I'll be honest, I'm upset with Paul LePage for what he did by endorsing her and coming at me the way he did, my staffer. But I can honestly say, value-wise, I love the guy. He did great things for the state of Maine.
Yeah, he did.
And I can't ever say anything bad about that, and I never would. But I can tell you as an individual, I've lost all respect for what he did because he gave up principles for
the
end
goal.
Yeah,
he was that underdog, and he gets to where he's at.
Well, now he gets to go to Susan Collins in 2022 and say, hey, I endorsed you. If she wins anyways, I endorsed you. I'd really appreciate the endorsement back.
Kudos,
yeah, and that's the way politics work. And I'm sure she'd give it
Scratch
back.
my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah, it is.
And especially knowing that this probably will be Susan's last term, she'd probably have no problem endorsing him at that point.
Right.
She'd have no reason not to.
So it's a political ploy, and that's where I wanted to step in. I just wanted to be the average Joe and just kind of step in there and not let someone who, like Mitch McConnell build a strong army because I'm not a politician.
Right.
Not let Chuck Schumer have, any influence on me.
AOC did the same thing in New York, so it's not like it's unheard of.
And I really felt like that was important. But they stripped my data. They did give it back. I was told if I didn't speak out against the party, I could have it back. And I'll be honest, at that moment, I was like, all right, I won't. I get the screenshots.
Bad
all the text
Derek.
messages.
Smack your hand.
And I never should have said that. I should have said,
Held
I
strong.
don't want to say it on here,
Right.
but I should have said just kiss my butt.
Right.
Kiss my butt. I'm going to the news. But what I did is I waited a little while and I was trying to rectify and restart
I
a
know,
list and
yeah.
trying to fix things.
Trying
And
to
then-
keep face with
Yeah,
everything.
and then I finally said, you know what? This is going to the media, and I took it to the media. I actually took it to
Did you release them?
Steve Collins, the
Screenshots and stuff?
Yeah. And I still have an audio recording that I'm going to save for a special day. It's Demi Kazuna's, and I hope she hears this. It's her calling me, telling me I can't run. She's going to get Trump against me and Paula Page against me. And she's literally screaming at me. I said, Demi, just so you know, you're on a recorded line. And she kind of, well, that's not what I'm saying. It's such an awesome thing. I just listened to it again last night because no one was coming here. I just wanted to have a fresh recollection of what was said. But it was comical. And I said, before I told her she was on a recorded line, Maine's a one-party state. A lot of people are like, oh, you can't record. It's a one-party
course you
state.
can.
I was talking in the
Right.
conversation. I can record it.
Yeah.
And
you gave yourself permission.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically.
And the reason why I have it on my phone, and is because when I'm talking to a client, I'm a contractor, and they say, hey, can you please add this to my list? And I say, okay, you're on a recorded line. Can you please authorize me one more time, state your name, and that you're
Right.
willing to. That's why it's on there. And then I take it after the conversation. I send it to an email, make a file.
Transcribe.
And then if something ever happens,
You
I
have
at least
it.
have proof that that person asked me to do that. That's the whole reason why. I've been coined as a deceitful whatever. It had nothing to do with that. Yes, I have the recording because it's on my phone.
Of course.
But don't call me up screaming at me, telling me you're gonna cut me down, you're gonna take me out, and that's what she
Right.
did. It was comical. And
Yeah,
but I'll be honest, my biggest election will be after the 2020 elections. It'll be in January or February, and it's the party chair for Maine GOP. And what I'm going to do is fight as hard as I can for anybody else other than Demi Kazunas and Jason Savage. They both need to hit the road. They are so done in Maine, and I will do everything in my power to make sure they are done. Because they have done nothing in the past 4 years.
We've been talking about this for quite a while now, and that's getting like the Republicans. We have a lot of the answers to the problems. Yes, I believe we do, but it's enacting the what implicates putting it behind it. You know what I mean?
Right. So, a big election we have coming up in 2020 is president. Trump's going to win. He might not win Maine. He may win Maine. I'm not sure, but Trump's going to win.
I don't know. He's pitted them pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, this impeachment stuff is great. It's great. It's going to keep them in the news constantly.
Yeah.
It's going to make them look like a bunch of fools coming after him for it.
I think so too.
Literally, they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing.
No,
Nothing that's
it's-
impeachable,
right.
anyway, but they're making a story out of something that's nothing.
And I think, that stuff's got to stop. I mean, I know they don't like the guy, but let's get something done for the country. We got the best economy we've had in decades.
I'm enjoying it.
I am too. I got more money in my pocket, so
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. But I mean, we need to do something while we have it. Let's do something big.
Right.
But
And then
they just
The hard part is we
wanna
don't
fight.
have the House. So.
Right. Yeah.
So just
Republicans are limited in what they can do.
You are right there.
how long do you guys typically go on this?
We usually go for about 40 minutes
40
or so,
minutes.
45
Okay.
minutes.
I was kind of hoping you guys would want to get in the CD2 conversation.
You want it?
We
We
can
can.
see,
yeah, for a few
That's
minutes.
Whatever you want to
So-
talk
so
Yeah,
about.
it's 2:35, so we're good.
CD2 was won by Bruce Pollock, won by 2,000 votes.
Yeah.
I think a Republican will win it this time around. We have three great candidates.
Well,
I think no matter
Yeah, we know CD2 is a pretty
Yeah.
can
It's
huge.
elect
Republicans.
and with Trump running,
know it can
and the
happen.
numbers he got up there, the people going to come out to vote for
Right.
Trump are going to vote for that Republican candidate.
Oh yeah, easily.
So whoever we get on that ticket is going to be Jerry Golden.
good, good. Because the way that he played.
Well,
this,
I can't say whoever. I can
Right.
say it's likely.
Right.
I do feel there are more electable candidates than others in this.
Right.
And I definitely have been leaning towards a ton Adrienne Bennett because of her journalism.
It's
her
all,
life
it is
experience.
going to be a hard one. I do agree.
I love Eric Brady.
I do like
love
Eric too.
Dale
Yeah.
Crafts. I think Dale's a great guy. He's been a political activist for
Right.
years.
Yep.
He's gotten behind our candidates. He has great philosophy. I think
Yeah,
they
very
all-
smart
they
guy.
all have
Very smart guy.
Very basic principles. So it's really a struggle. It's not like we have these three running against Susan Collins. Where
Right,
it's a
right.
clear cut and dry representing our base. But I really do think about electability and what's really going to swing it. So we got single mothers out there that sit on the fence a little bit, and I think that's where Adrienne Bennett would win it. I think she would really destroy the numbers in CD2. I honestly think if she wins the primary, she smokes that race. It's going to be awesome. I mean, I think
Definitely in that debate.
Dale,
Yeah,
that's for
she
sure.
definitely has some political pull, like I think, some political coinage, I guess.
Well, and it's kind of funny because Governor LePage came out and endorsed Dale Crafts, and that's why I kind of jumped off Dale's wagon. I was like, well, if LePage backed Collins, I'm not going to back anybody else that he endorses. But no, I mean, so what's an endorsement? And, a lot of people aren't looking for the rhetoric of Paul LePage right now. They're not looking for, that same old thing. And like I said, I love his values, I love his principles. I would vote for him again for those basic reasons. Right. But I don't think the endorsement of Dale is going to help Dale. I actually thought he might come out and endorse Bennett. Yeah. Someone who worked for him.
Right, yeah.
And
basically, I think he said that it was because of the experience that Dale had that
Dale is an incredible person, but here's the problem. Politicians, they get in, serve 8 years, and they start looking for political experience, where Paul LePage had none and did great things. Yep. So we start looking for people with political experience. That isn't necessarily good for us.
Right.
Well, especially because we got LePage for doing the opposite.
Right. And they start forgetting that that's a great place to start is nowhere. Nowhere's a really good place to start.
I was a little upset when I heard about what happened with you and Paul LePage, considering he was the underdog. You know what I mean? You would think he would be supporting the underdog of a race.
Yeah, it's not
the GOP though.
I know.
It's political clout.
I know what you're getting at.
And do I blame him?
No.
If I was a politician, I say no. And but as a person who I've never wanted to run for office, I don't believe I ever will again. It was this thing out of passion. I don't mind a big fight, and I'd take on that fight. I'd probably take it on in January if all of a sudden I had a change of heart. Like I'm still filed with the FEC. I'm still a candidate, but it's suspended. And, and it is over.
Well, I guess we could talk about. I noticed there's a Facebook page pulling for you still as a write-in.
Oh my gosh! I got tagged in this post, and it's pretty incredible. Yeah. That's the stuff that breaks my heart, because there are some people out there that really know that my heart.
What's at stake? Yeah.
Well, I looked back on your Facebook page today, and there's a lot of people that were disappointed when you announced that you dropped out. So
there was.
I'll be honest. Running, I had you get tons of hate, and people threatening you, and my wife got tons of hate. People said stuff, watch out for your kids, and
that's horrible.
You're here.
You shouldn't have to worry about that.
No.
But I started getting that from Republicans when I dropped out.
Really?
Oh yeah. So here's the thing. I'll never be afraid of a fight. So that's not the reason why I stay in or stay out. The reason why I dropped out of the race, I raised about $8,900.
I was going to say it was more along
I started
the lines
realizing that even though I was getting a ton of support, I'd get slaughtered by the Democrat in the general election.
Right.
So even if I could have beaten Collins, because 40% of people being polled would vote for any other name other than Collins.
Yeah.
All I needed to do was get 11% more vote on my principles, and we could have beat her easily. So I could have done it and then got slaughtered, or do I step back and realize sometimes there's a bigger dog, in the race, and it's not worth it because it's exhausting. It was trying on my family. I was spending no time at home. We were always on the road. We were always doing something, and for something that I'm a realist, I started looking at it and I realized that yes, I might win a primary, but I'm not winning the general election.
Right, and the numbers aren't there. You don't want to make it worse for Maine.
And the other part that I would be a hindrance to is the national level GOP.
Right.
So, do I want to do that to the RNC? Do I want to come in as this candidate that has $8 to his name, rolling from June to November, and they have to then find $30 million for me to beat Sarah Gideon or somebody else in that party? So, a lot of people give me heat, and I hope they understand that the reason why I did it was because I'm a realist, and I didn't want to keep the little bit of money I had. I'm so grateful for the people who made contributions. I didn't want to take any more from them either.
Right.
And lose.
Right.
But why keep taking from people who are hardworking and
fighting
just to be a politician or to look like you're a politician, to stay in a fight, just to prove a point?
Throwing good money after bad.
Yeah, I didn't need to prove a point anymore. I'm really proud of the people who stepped up. We had some great volunteers. We had some great contributors.
I volunteered some time.
Yeah, so there are some really good people, and my fight's not over, and I'm not meaning I'm running for office again or that I'm not going to, but my fight under Derek U.S. Patriot as an activist, as a spokesperson or whatever it may be for the underdog.
So you're going to be getting your podcast going?
Yeah, I saw that you're going to be
let's
starting
get
to
that
talk
going,
about
in a couple weeks, well, what we'll do is maybe we'll do a mutual. I'll have you guys as my
Right.
guests and kind of
Alright.
promote your
Yeah,
show.
we'll do
I'm
it.
actually sharing
Do it.
you guys on my page right now.
Oh, good deal. Thank you.
Hoping to give you guys a boost. So if anyone's
Thanks.
watching that watches
Hashtag
Derek as
ask.
Patriot, please like their page. It's all Sides of Kennebec.
Yep.
All Sides of Kennebec.
All Sides of
Hashtag ask.
So look them up, and these guys are doing great work. And this is what it's really about: local activism, and just people getting, our opinions out there. And if we're like-minded, then we kind of come together.
Yeah, that's
Representing.
exactly. Yeah, that's
I
exactly.
appreciate that.
No problem.
That's exactly why we started this. Is it's not so much that we're trying to be one party driven
Right.
or anything. We want to get the
Yeah,
facts of
right.
what's actually going on out there and what ideas of whose ideas or whatever ideas out.
And we welcome Republicans,
Yeah,
Democrats.
Republican.
I'm not either party. I'm a libertarian.
he's
so
a libertarian.
I'm not even part of the party.
Right. I consider myself a constitutionalist
And
Republican.
I wish that was
so-
on our registration, a constitutionalist, because
Right.
Republicans look at
I
our
like
debt.
that party.
We complained about Barack Obama.
Yep.
And all right, so here's my last thing that'll probably upset everybody with. The
Hey,
current
right.
administration gives a massive tax break, which people say was what stimulated the economy.
Right.
I think you still could have done some of that and still stimulated the economy, but at the tune that it was given out at, and then at the level that we're falling, the debt ceiling's being raised and we're
Right.
falling into debt. Is it worth putting that burden on our next generation? Yes, tax breaks are good, and tax breaks boost the economy, but we really need to realize what we're leaving behind.
Right.
We're almost at the point of inflation
teeter point.
where our GDP can't cover the interest.
Right.
Right.
What
The
happens
inflation.
then? What happens when we can't cover
Massive inflation.
But no,
Yeah.
do we all go bankrupt?
Right,
Do we
yeah.
sell America to China? Who buys us?
Right.
Who owns our
Yeah,
Who owns our debt?
That is a good question.
And we're probably within 5 years if they keep running at the pace. If you just take a scale and go across the rule, before 5 years from now, if they keep doing the same thing, we're
Right.
5 years away from,
Oh, that's why
hitting the
the-
point where we
that's-
can't afford
I
it.
that's
thought we were
why-
going to be paid off within 8 years.
Oh my gosh.
That's what Trump said, right?
I know he did.
That's why I'm afraid of this whole the socialist green deal there. $90 trillion.
Oh, the new Green Deal?
You,
Yeah.
It's
5 years.
I'm
just
not
as
afraid of
it's
stuff
going,
like that
but-
because it's,
Well,
it's like
I'm-
unicorns.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It
You know, we can
really
all
is,
have
but-
a dream and there's something in
Right,
it.
right.
And unicorns, dragons, and dinosaurs, whatever. So that's what that is. That's a unicorn.
Right. Well,
You
I
know,
guess what my
it's this pretty-
correlation.
It's this pretty thing out there.
Right.
It's a unicorn. It's a mystical creature. We're going to spend $90 trillion. Our GDP, it would take 31 years to cover.
Right.
Just to cover that. So it's funny.
It's because
And
realistically, they couldn't pass it.
no,
So
so we
that's
could never fund it.
Everyone, right, and it wouldn't pass anyway.
Right.
'Cause
But
it's
what
just-
that does is that gets the activists rolling. It gets the heat going, and both parties do it. We feed the fire on both sides.
Yeah, of course.
But hey, guys, thank you for having me today.
All right, definitely. Thanks for coming on,
I really
Derek.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Anytime.
Derek.
I really appreciate it. And I'll have you guys on with me soon.
Yeah, definitely. I'm Sean Karen,
I'm Jeremy Lisa.
and thanks for checking out All Sides of Kennebec. Remember, #ask podcast. Until next time, be easy, be safe. Remember, a true patriot questions everything.